kill your approval-seeking behaviors that ruin how women see you, like this. Today we're going to talk about exactly how to stop all the behaviors that are coming from this approval-seeking place that make women turn off. So if you are in an interaction with a girl and you see the light in her eyes kind of go dim and you don't quite understand why, and maybe it's after something that you said or after something that you did, maybe she prompted you with a question and you answered it, and after the answer you saw all the excitement leave her body and kind of like her becoming disinterested. You quite don't really understand why, like what you did wrong. It might be that. It might be approval seeking. And today we're gonna find out how to identify, how to gain some background knowledge on this, to understand how these systems work, how it works in our psychology, how to gain awareness on your own approval-seeking behaviors, how to stop them on the spot, and how to replace them with behaviors that are actually congruent, fucking masculine, authentic, and super fucking attractive. So that you can start building attraction with the girls that you like, and you can go, towards your goal, which is to find the girl that is the one for you, that you're perfect 10 out of 10. And if you want help with that, by the way, link is down in the description to work with me. Okay, now, the first thing I want to say here is that, so you should watch this video if you want to gain awareness, understand what the behaviors are, start switching them up, and replacing them with behaviors that are attractive. Now, I want to dig into how approval seeking works in the first place. The first thing I want to say is that girls don't like approval seeking in boys. Why? Because girls, in a romantic context, in a relationship, want to be led. And that's because that stems in the fact that generally in society, especially today, we live in a place where girls have to do a lot and they don't want to take the lead everywhere, including their relationship. If their relationship is a place where they can afford to let go and surrender taking the lead to somebody else, they will happily do that. However, they need to know that the person that's leading is competent. So inherently, your leadership should be like zero doubts and like plowing through and like what you're doing. You're competent and you're confident. Okay, so if you're seeking approval, that is an honest signal. That is a sign, an immediate sign that tells her, oh my God, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. We cannot trust him. And that takes away the feeling of like relief and, oh my God, I can surrender. And this is wonderful with this guy. So like the girl immediately goes back to, oh fuck, we're fucked. We need to go seek another man. Okay. So this is from a girl's perspective. But from your perspective, what's happening is that you feel, and especially if you're watching that video, you're wired like this because there's men out there who are not wired like this, who are just like fucking, they by default plow through, and there's negatives to that as well. But in this aspect, at least, this is what you need to switch, right? So if you're watching this video, you're a guy who doesn't quite plow through. And in your mind, this looks like this. This looks like you just want to make sure that the girl is happy. And it's a very innocent feeling, a sentiment, and it makes sense. It's like it's coming from a good place. It's coming from a good heart, so to speak. However, it is not adequate. It is not sufficient. It's not going to get the job done. Where it really comes from, if you really dig into it, is, and you're going to see that if you really sit down and contemplate and think, is because earlier in your life, in your childhood, when you were more vulnerable, when you were little, there were figures of authority that you needed to keep satisfied. So this momentum and plowing through was not quite part of your repertoire. You had to be more conservative, more reluctant. And this today translates into, oh, I just want to make sure that she's happy. But what it really looks like in her eyes is approval seeking, is like approval seeking, and that makes you instantly unattractive. Of course, as you now understand, these are things that you're not quite aware of as you're doing them in the moment. These are things that you're not really it just escapes your consciousness. It's things that you don't quite understand. You mechanically do, and then you wonder why it's not working with the girl. Well, now you know, right? So what we're going to learn today is a 3-step process to kind of replacing your approval-seeking behavior with different behaviors. And this is hard. Do not take this lightly. This is a hard job. So after watching this video and hopefully taking notes, you're going to have the job of identifying these 3 steps. First, identifying all the behaviors that you do. And I'm going to give you a list and we're going to go through them one by one. Identifying all the approval-seeking things that you do, and be extra suspicious because, like, in your mind, they might be camouflaged with an excuse such as, oh, I'm not doing this from a place of approval seeking. I'm just trying to make sure that she remains happy and I'm a good citizen. But so yeah, remain vigilant, remain suspicious because your mind might be trying to trick you. Okay, so first step is identifying and recognizing the behavior itself. The second step is going to be stopping the behavior, which is a muscle that you need to train. It's resisting the temptation because you're going to be tempted to keep going as you are because you have a specific identity, you have a set identity. And this identity is going to want to survive tomorrow and the day after and the year after. And this identity is what you want to kill. Okay, you want to kill the part of yourself that seeks approval, the part of yourself that is unattractive to a woman. And you want to then, and this carries its own momentum, so you need to train that muscle. Like you will see that first, it's gonna be hard to identify certain behavior that you exhibit, and then later, once you've identified it a couple of times, then it's not gonna be an issue to really know that you're doing it. But the next issue is going to be resisting the urge to do it and to fight the momentum and to actually stop the behavior, to resist doing the unattractive behavior. And then, so that's a task in and of itself. And then the third step is going to be replacing it with the attractive behavior, which is injecting the new identity that you want to step into. Okay, so this is a 3-step process that I want you to implement here in this project, so to speak, because it is a fucking project. And without further ado, let's start going through them one by one. The first one is eye contact and vocal tonality. You will see that your tonality, if it's approval seeking, is going to have an upwards inflection. So it's going to sound like this. It's going to sound more like a question. So every time you hear your voice going up, start being instantly suspicious that you might be doing this to seek approval and thus are being very unattractive to a woman. Instead, what I want you to do is take your time, calm down, have different videos that show you how to do this, and make sure that your vocal tonality goes downward when you end the sentence, so that you sound commanding and assertive, like this. Okay, this is a much more attractive vocal tonality. Now, if you sound like this, is that going to make her wet? Probably not, but it will contribute and it will feed back to you that you are a higher value guy. Okay, so that's number one. And number two, your eye contact. You will notice that if you're seeking approval from a woman, what you're going to do is you might look her in the eye, but you're going to be submissive at parts, and look down. So if you catch yourself looking down, you need to understand that in this instance, you might be looking for approval from the girl. It's just a sound of insecurity. It's a sign of insecurity, and it's a sign of reluctance. We don't want this. Instead, what I want you to do is not have this crazy, super piercing, penetrating eye contact, but instead have a chill eye contact that you break off from time to time, and you might look upwards or to the side, and that's more of a sign that you're comfortable, casual, everything's cool, nobody's in a rush, and at the same time, you're not looking down, you're not being submissive. So you have your own will, you have your own volition. Okay, that's very important. Now, that's kind of like a body language tip, but the rest is very behavioral. So the first thing I want to touch on is over-explaining or justifying. And ironically, this is part of qualifying. This is part of kind of like ideally in a first interaction, what we would like the girl to do, to put her in a place where she wants to seek your approval. This is, if you ask any girl, she's gonna deny that. She's gonna say that, okay, no, we should be equals, but it never actually works like this. In every relationship, there's one person chasing or one person running away, or like one person is above the other. And in the happy relationships, it's the man who's above the girl and the man who leads. And girls might contest it and might complain and might protest it, but you see that when it establishes itself like that, girls are actually happy. This is very cool. Now, if you are over-explaining or justifying yourself, it's going to look like this. Instead of simply stating an argument or stating, and that's something that I teach my students as well, and if we're exercising dominance, is the task of stating what will happen. Simply stating, hey, this is, we are going there, or I am getting this, or you are bringing me that. And this is like, it's not, there's no ego in this. It's simply understanding the future. It's simply stating what will happen. This is not justifying or over-explaining, but instead of stating what will happen, a way to seek somebody's approval is stating what will happen and then giving them all the good reasons why it should, right? It's like, so yes, like we will go there because it's better, you know? And you see how the tonality also goes up in the example. It's kind of like, this is how that sounds and works and feels. So if you catch yourself feeling like that, instead, resist the urge to justify, resist the urge to complement the first statement with an explanation. Try it. Try it as an exercise. Try it on for size. Say, this is what will happen. Downward tonality, firm, matter of fact, and see how the person takes it. And to your surprise, you'll see that a lot of times people comply. People want to comply to authority they trust because it takes the responsibility off of them. So even if it's a guy, so do that. Resist the urge to complete the sentence with the second part of explaining why, and you'll see that it works. And you'll see that instead of the girl getting turned off, she's gonna stay fucking attracted to you. Okay. Next one is fishing for validation. So a great way to see that you're doing it is when you're taking care of a girl. Maybe you are on a date with her. Maybe you're walking with her. And you're overly concerned of if it's okay for her. Maybe you are sitting down and thinking, okay, I want to kiss her, but is this going to be an intrusion? So you ask, would it be okay if I kissed you now? Super unattractive. Or you see a couple of girls sitting down at the bar, you want to go approach them, but they're chatting, right? And you go in and you approach and you're like, I'm sorry to intrude. I didn't mean to bother you. Like, this is so unattractive. This is terrible. It shows what image you have of yourself, where if you're interrupting somebody, it's because you want something from them and you're lower value. Just think about interrupting somebody to tell them that they just won $1 million. Would you be reluctant to do that? Would you ask for forgiveness, or would you just simply go in and go, shut the fuck up, stop everything you're doing, you just won $1 million. Like, that's a completely different vibe. And there's no approval seeking there, okay? And basically, you're asking, do you like this? You're unsure whether or not she likes this. And as an extension of that, what you're really asking is, do you like me? And if you're uncertain of whether or not she likes you, bro, this is death in romance. This is what kills everything. So the moment, and these things are very subtle. You're not explicitly asking, do you like me? But the implied tone of the message is that. And that is what turns the girl off. Okay. Now, the next one is excessive compliments. And why do we do that? And you can see that, like, if you're a great example, you go in because you're approaching a girl and you give her one compliment. And then, even though it could be authentic, you give her a second one. The moment you've given her 2 compliments in a row, game over. Even if both compliments are authentic and you really feel them, it's giving, I want your approval. And specifically, why do we give people compliments? Because we want their favor. Because we're afraid, we want to make them like us. And if we hear good things about ourselves, we're going to like the person that it came from. It's like, this is kind of like how the manipulation works in your head, right? Not that you're malicious or malevolent, but it's just a normal human wiring that does that. So if you overly compliment, it's okay to give somebody one compliment. If you're feeling it, the timing is right, the compliment is authentic, it's good. But if you're overly complimenting, it means that you want to gain their favor because you're afraid. You want their protection. You want to make sure that they're not going to do something bad to you. And the man who's coming from this place, bro, this is a weak man, and this is a man girls don't want. Okay. Now, instead, I would say keep the compliments to yourself, and only when the timing is right, and I'm going to make a different video about specifically how to compliment because it's a great subject. Only when the timing is right and the compliment is authentic and you've kind of understood the girl and you're demonstrating through your compliment that you're understanding her, then it's okay to make a compliment, and don't overdo it because it's going to point to approval seeking. Okay. And it's going to kill your attraction like nothing else. The next one is a great one because it's also an attraction trigger, and it's when we are saying yes to things we don't want. Okay. So basically, another word to put it is people pleasing. If you're a people pleaser, if you're saying yes to things you don't want, and here's why this is it's a huge attraction trigger, is because it has to do with boundaries. Boundaries is the attraction trigger. A man with boundaries is an attractive man, and a man that women fucking love. Now, the exercise here is a little hard. It's not the easiest thing in the world to understand that because you need to understand yourself, but boundaries is basically the thing that separates you from the outside. It separates everything that's not you from everything that's you. And the more solid your boundaries, it means that you have a more defined understanding of who you are. That in and of itself is hugely attractive, and it also means that immediately you know what you want to do and what you don't want to do, what you allow yourself to do and what you disallow yourself, what you allow others to do to you or to do near you, and what you disallow them. And having a firm knowledge and a fucking savage application of that is the most attractive thing in the world. So if there's something that you don't quite want to do, some guys, they just defined it and it's like, this is not me, I'm not doing it. Super attractive. Some other guys are like, oh, I could take it or leave it. I'm not sure if I want to do this. Like, it's going to make her happy. I'll do it. Yes, but it's a trap. The moment you do it, it's game over. And I bet as I'm saying this, moments come to mind that you've done it and you've seen the light dim in the girl's eyes. Okay. So the last one I want to touch on is, actually there's 2 last ones. Trying too hard to impress and asking what she wants. Actually, the last one kind of ties into the fishing for validation one. So it's basically trying too hard to impress. And I'm definitely guilty of this in the past, and you might be guilty of this as well. The way we do it is to over-exaggerate who we are, to pretend or to present an image of us of us in the world, that is not real. So even if the girl doesn't quite recognize that you're stretching the truth a little bit, it's still not good for you. It still is not going to lead anywhere pretty in the relationship. It's not going to set you up to have the connection that you want to have with this person. And it's, and you need to, just stop exaggerating. It screams that, like, why are you exaggerating? Because you want to gain something that your real self wouldn't gain. So you exaggerate, you say you get too many girls, or you have too much money, or like so much money. If you told the truth, people would view you in a different light. So there's a gap between who you present to the world and who you truly are. What you need to do is close the gap. And this is a practice that I implement in my morning ritual as well. And it's part of my meditation, my morning meditation. I'm going to make a different video on that. Click here when I make it to check it out after this video. But instead, what you need to do is start becoming comfortable. And again, it's like always these 3 steps: identify the behavior, start stopping it, and then start introducing the new behavior. So the new behavior here is starting to be a little more comfortable with truly letting the real you shine, come what may. Like, whatever happens, I don't care. This is really me. And if I don't win, whatever positive thing would come off of me stretching the truth a little bit, so be it. I don't want it. I want only what's meant for me. And you see that when you align your actions like this, things start to happen. Things start to like kind of fall into place, and you actually get what is meant for you and what is actually going to make you happy. And girls get super attracted to that. Okay. Hope you liked this video. Press the like button if you did. Click subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.